Three head to the podium, which is just up in that grassy area on the inside of turn number one. As all three vehicles stopped down on the inside of turn number one. Turn number one, they'll have to just head through the fence and see them get their moments with the trophies here on the front straightaway. But all in all, with all the starts and stops over the course of this race, and you know, some interesting moments with fire on Sam Fellows, everybody's okay, we can tell you that. But a pretty exciting Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. This race never disappoints.
No, it really doesn't. There's always so much to take in, not the least of which is military guard for these cars to end this one. One of my favorite things that promoters here at GP3R did in the last little while, I can't remember when it started, but we were the last race of the day for a long time. And for many years, Dave, I was on one of the trucks as they take the top three around the racetrack back to the media center for the post-race press conference. So it was empty grandstands and people heading for the exits. When you went by the pedestrian bridges, there was lots of activity. But now they'll jump in those trucks and take those victory laps, and it's a lot of fun because there's a lot more fans still in the grandstands.
Yeah, waiting for one more race to be held this weekend to cap off what has been a successful weekend. And yeah, there are some fans who came to see the show, the NASCAR Canada Series, and they'll head for the exits to try and beat the traffic out of Trois-Rivières and head for home here on a Sunday afternoon.
Talking about Gannett in the hot car, that is a heel boot. That reflective material separates the extreme heat,
and the thing
comes
is,
off the floor of the race car.
We've seen drivers forget that, not use it, and they end up with huge blisters on the inside of their shoe, or on the inside of their foot.
Nasty burns.
Yeah,
nasty
big burns. So you think, how hot can it really be? It's very
nasty
big burns. So you think, how hot can it really be? It's very hot, and when you're running the gas pedal, you can't move your foot. You need it there.
Again, ask me if race car drivers are athletes. I don't care, but they're warriors.
Yeah, they are. They'll play through that, and you know what? They get their foot hot, and it's not like I'm going to pull in and stop. I'm going to run this race to the end, and we'll figure it out later.
Most athletes won't continue to participate
if they feel
after they're injured.
Yep.
So
I agree with you there.
It's always been an interesting, well, not to me, but it's been interesting to see that people want to debate it. LP Dumoulin shaking hands with Marc-Antoine Cameron. And this actually is an interesting moment. How many years have we gotten to the podium of GP3R and none of the three have to be upset with each other?
That's true.
All of the rivalries, all of the moments happened with other people on the racetrack.
Yeah, you're right. Andrew Ranger will be upset with LP Dumoulin. Andrew Ranger may be upset with Alex Guinnett towards the end of that one, but none of those drivers are upset with each other as they all finished somewhat separated from each other on the track. There you can see the podium has been set up.
An impressively managed weekend by Marc-Antoine Camirand, his crew chief Robin McCluskey, the team owner J.C. Payet, Fanny Bruette.
And this has been a very solid year for the driver of the 96. I mean, it didn't start off on the right foot at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but in the time since, he's just started to click off wins, and it started with back-to-back wins at Autodrome Chaudière. He went back-to-back at Autodrome Montmagny on the ovals, and then he picked up one of 2 wins in Edmonton on the Western Road Trip, and now 6 victories in 10 races in the 2026 season. So you question, how can he be that far ahead in points? There you go.
6 wins in 10 races, and when he hasn't won, I think he's still done pretty darn good. I don't think there's any DNFs in there for Camirand. They seem to always get to the end of the race. Finally, you drop a stat that's impressive, Dave. I mean, we were almost out of this one.
It was close. I never want to leave you disappointed. That's my goal in life.
I don't know if there is worse goals to have, but we'll roll with that.
La cérémonie protocolaire du 45 tours Car Gurus du Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, afin de remettre les trophées à nos 3 vainqueurs du 45 tours. J'ai l'honneur d'avoir à mes côtés la représentante Car Gurus, Michaela Kinnan, et Madame Amélie Dionne, ministre du Tourisme. En 3e position, de Mascouche, Alex Guinnett. En 2e position, on est à la maison de Trois-Rivières, le numéro 47, Louis-Philippe Dumoulin. On est prêt, Louis-Philippe, pour la photo avec Madame Car Gurus, Michaela Kinnan. Et le vainqueur de Saint-Léonard d'Aston, Marc-Antoine Camirand.
And so the podium is set as Marc-Antoine Camirand collects his trophy and will stand on the top step. And we'll get ready for the Victory Mist shower here in Victory Lane.
There's J.C. Payet in the background, blue jeans, talking to Dominic Fougere, the event promoter.
And you saw Dominic Fougere lean in and give a big hearty congratulations to Marc-Antoine Camirand, LP Dumoulin, and Alex Guinnett, your top 3 here in the Car Gurus 45 at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Big smiles here on the podium.
Camirand checking out the workmanship.
He's like, how do I put this down so I can spray them with champagne? Now they'll grab their bottles, or I should say Victory Mist, non-alcoholic champagne versions, and they'll enjoy it in Victory Lane. But thank you very much for joining us. For Adam Ross, Clinton Jeffrey down in the paddock area, I'm Dave Bradley. Thanks very much for joining us from the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Big congratulations to Marc-Antoine Camirand. Our next race in less than a week, the Markham 125, another street race, the first ever in Markham, Ontario. Thanks again from the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
transmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Voice Isolator just got an upgrade, so the next test was obvious.
S'élançant de la 5e position.
Hello and welcome to Trois-Rivieres, Quebec in the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivieres, race number 10 on the 2026 NASCAR Canada Series schedule. And the Car Gurus 45. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth, he is Adam Ross. Clinton Jeffrey is pit side. But what we have is a marquee race for the NASCAR Canada Series here today. And something a little different here in 2026 in qualifying races to set the starting line.
Indeed, the qualifying races were not explosive, and that's the first time we've seen a competition battle at Trois-Rivieres that was not explosive, but because nothing was on the line but starting position. So they were great races. We got to see who was quick. We got to see who had brake fade, who had issues that they were able to try and address before today. And this is a story. Oh, that's the camera.
Camera's getting to the onboard camera, getting turned on Kevin Lacroix. He's your pole sitter, so top two qualified on speed, on time. And the rest of the field is set from there on back, kind of like the Daytona 500.
Exactly. To finish that thought, though,
parti, mesdames, messieurs.
Of those races not being explosive, that really builds up the tension too
Et
today.
Joanne Villeneuve fait la remise du drapeau. Merci Gilles, au pilote Bertrand Godin qui pilotera la voiture de tête de la victoire de Gilles Villeneuve au Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières il y a exactement 50 ans.
Has been held here at the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivieres, and one of the drivers discovered out of this race was legendary Gilles Villeneuve. This is essentially the location where he was spotted, earned himself an F1 test, and the rest, as they say, is history. So this is a former Gilles Villeneuve Formula Atlantic car, which is what he would have driven here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres.
They're going to do a full pace lap, drivers in preparations, talking to their crew members. So what they gave us yesterday was 100% of what their cars had to offer, but not 100% of what these drivers have in them.
No, and some of the drivers admitted, I took it easy. I didn't need to push. I'm going to save that for the race. And important to note, too, in the two Omnifab sprints that were run yesterday, under similar conditions, it was very sunny, very warm. The same Mercury tires that they ran in those two 15-lap sprints, they will start today's race on and run all of the laps on those same tires.
No, and that's critical. They qualified on them. They ran the twin sprint on them. And then they will start the race today on them. So drivers who did, in fact, what we saw yesterday, Kevin Lacroix in his sprint won it with Andrew Ranger absolutely hounding him for the first, what would you say, 6 laps, 5 laps?
Yep.
And it was very clear something made those drivers just back off. Not a lot, but Andrew Ranger was all over Lacroix. I mean, almost contact, a great display of two drivers running their line and exploring things. Yeah. But something either came to them or was said to them by spotter crew chief, hey, this is for starting position. Run where you are, you're going to start third tomorrow. Wear out your car, you have less chance of standing on top of the podium after the biggest race of the year.
Or wad it up and you start at the back, and we've got a night full of work to do. But speaking to Kevin Lacroix after that race, he said, I was pushing because Andrew was pushing. And then he said, I looked back and Andrew wasn't pushing anymore, so I wasn't pushing. But that's the way it sort of worked in those Omnifab sprints. Marc-Antoine Cameron will start on the outside of the front row. He also won his Omnifab sprint yesterday, but with a lot less tension in that race. It was just sort of got out in front, set the pace, and then really sort of backed off and fell into a rhythm. But such a cool sight to see Gilles Villeneuve's Formula Atlantic car making some laps here at the legendary circuit. And if you've never been here to the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres, it's an 11-turn circuit. It's about 1.5 miles, about 2.4 kilometers around. There are several good passing zones. Not a lot of them. Some are going to be made over the course of the day because every turn is a potential passing zone, but you've got essentially turn 6 and turn 9 are really the key places to pass.
And the rest of the track is setup area.
Yeah.
To set up to turn 6, set up to turn 9. There's a couple of spots where you can surprise somebody. The entry of turn 2, the entry exit turn 8. Like, there's a couple of spots where you'll see them on occasion catch somebody by surprise, but by and large, those are the two braking zones. Turn 1 is a spot where I treat the exit of turn 1 almost like the entry to turn 6 and 9. Mm-hmm. You have as much opportunity if you get a good run through the first turn to really get in there in turn 2 with track position.
Turn 3 through the legendary Duplessis gates, that's where you want to have that pass completed. Going side by side through there is a touchy situation, and it will happen over the course of today's race, but getting through there successfully side by side is, let's just say, slim and or none completing that pass through turn number 3. What is also interesting is we take a look at the point standings coming into this race, and Marc-Antoine Cameron really has been the story of 2026. 5 race wins so far, and he holds a 54-point lead over second place, Kevin Lacroix.
I wish I knew what was going on right now. Obviously a photo opportunity. Dignitaries are down there. A special moment at the front of the grid of GP3R as some of Canada's finest prepare to honor the nation with the national anthem and display of the Canadian flag.
Well, this has always been a big race where we honor the troops in the Canadian forces. There's a marching band that comes out onto the front straightaway as well for the national anthem, and there you can see it once again. And the big cannon set up in the inside of turn number 1. That's always a fun one.
Voici maintenant la cérémonie protocolaire du 45 tours Car Gurus du Grand Prix.
I remember the year of the Lac-Mégantic tragedy. It was a number of first responders who were here as part of the pre-race ceremony. It was really something to be a part of that, to be near it. I believe we're setting up for the anthem, if I'm not mistaken. We can hear in the background.
Yeah, and that's a good shot of the Duplessis gate. So that is turn number 3 that we were talking about, and so tight to get through there side by side. You even look at the line. It squeezes in and then it opens back up, but the squeezing in part is tight to go too wide through there. As we see one of the local announcers speaking predominantly in French here in Quebec.
It's Tanya Bodine and her Secret Service behind her. Huge crowd in attendance here this afternoon, as there always is.
Et afin de lancer.
And what a breeze, what a grace this breeze is.
The last 2 days here, and this is an event that lasts several days. Move-in day for the teams is early in the week or midway through the week, and it's been a hot one. So before we get the command to start engines, we're going to take a quick pause. You're watching the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières for the NASCAR Canada Series.
Champlain est ministre.
Alors, je veux remercier chacun d'entre vous pour votre présence. Je souhaite la meilleure chance aux courseurs. Alors, avec mes collègues, j'aimerais entamer le signal de départ. Pilote, démarrez les moteurs. Drivers, start the engine.
track is only 1.5 miles, 2.4 kilometers, but it could be a long afternoon for some of these drivers.
Well, it's an eventful afternoon, and we see Simone Dionvien still with the window net down. We have a look at some of the action from yesterday's Omnifab Twin Sprints, and this was the most exciting action in those races, was Alex Gannett in the 39 and Alex Tagliani in the 80 doing battle.
Yeah, and doing battle, but also making contact. And there was a lot of rubber marks on both cars by the time this one was done. No serious damage. Talked to a pit crew member for the Alex Tagliani team. And it just did get a little bit hairy. Both crew chiefs were yelling to their drivers, "This is only a heat race, guys." But yeah, you saw pressure at the front of the field too between Andrew Ranger and the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. So it was a very competitive Omnifab sprint.
In talking with Alex Gannett, he says, "I knew Tagliani was faster." As we see the smoke out the back of Ranger, a transmission plug had come out of that car making all sorts of smoke. Gannett said, "I knew Tagliani was faster. I just didn't like the way he was trying to pass me, so I made life difficult for him for a couple of corners."
And they will do that, and life will be difficult over the course of the afternoon for lots of drivers, but Marc-Antoine Cameron seemed to have this one well in hand. And again, this is the story that we were talking about, the 27 of Andrew Ranger showing smoke towards the end of his Omnifab sprint. You look underneath, and that's where the smoke is emanating from, and you think, oh boy, this doesn't look good at all. Crew did take a look, and they said, yeah, it was just a loose plug, so that's transmission fluid, got onto the hot headers, burned up, made a big scene, but didn't really affect too much.
Well, I bet that stunk.
Oh, it definitely did, especially if you're Ranger in the car. But he didn't give up, and it was only right up to the last lap of that race. So the driver was able to continue on and finish the race in second spot, so he'll maintain his third place starting position.
This was conversation from yesterday. If you're thinking, boy, it doesn't look like there's a very big crowd there. This was yesterday post-race. Talking to a few of the players, Marc-Antoine Cameron, I can tell you, in my conversation with him afterwards, or today actually, I'm just going to be patient at him and then he laughed at himself because he knows it's not in his DNA.
No, he's never patient. And yeah, our conversations are all happening in French, which is why we're withholding the audio from you at this point. But there's Kevin Lacroix, who won the other Omnifab sprint and will sit on pole and lead them to green here today. Cameron has won 2 of the last 3 races here. He's been very, very good. So he's visited victory lane 3 times if you count yesterday's Omnifab sprint. Kevin Lacroix has won here, but last time he did was way back in 2016.
Well, and that was a calendar year where he won every race, if I'm not mistaken. If that was the first year we saw him on the tour, and he just started winning every road course race. His first event was at Circuit Icar. And I remember so well, he drove away from the field in a way we had never seen anyone do before. Like, he's going to burn up his stuff. He can't maintain that pace. It changed the way this series ran road course races. They became much more of a sprint from that point forward. There was no pacing. It was all out from the start.
Gloves off, and you had to go right from the drop of the green. There's another good look at the Formula Atlantic car, formerly piloted by Gilles Villeneuve, restored and leading the field here in front of the Napa pace car as the field rolls into turn number 3. Quite a sight to see that one back on track.
And this will be a very appreciative crowd.
Oh, they love Gilles Villeneuve here. They love the Villeneuve name lives on in this area. Of course, the Villeneuve family from not far from here in Joliet, Quebec. There's a museum in Gilles' name in that area. And of course, Gilles' daughter Melanie makes a tour around, often crisscrossing with the NASCAR Canada Series stops in different parts of the country. So we get to see her quite frequently. Just a delightful person and committed to maintaining the memory of her father.
Well, and this year, with support from Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières and Dominique Fougère, they did the Summer of Gilles Villeneuve. Let's have a look at the starting grid for Le 45 Tour. Car Gurus.
Great French. Kevin Lacroix leads things off. He'll start alongside Marc-Antoine Cameron. Then Andrew Ranger in the 27 will start third. Alex Labay will make up the outside of row number 2. Alex Labay, importantly, has not visited victory lane here.
Starting 5th will be Alex Tagliani, LP Dumoulin on the outside of row number 3. Then we go to Alex Gannett in the 39 and 17 DJ Kennington. Both those drivers former winners of this race.
As we look back into the 5th row, and realistically any one of these top 10 drivers could win today's race. Vittorio Girelli, a former champion of the NASCAR Euro Series, makes a start in the 50. He'll start alongside Will LaRue, a Johnston's Rookie of the Year candidate. Raphael Lessard in the 7. Justin Arsenault in the 8 will make up row number 6.
Back to row 7, starting in the 13th spot, deeper than I thought he would be. JF Dumoulin in the 04, and beside him, someone who had trouble in yesterday's race. He qualified 4th in time trials, but he will start on the outside of row 7. Row 8 has Sam Fellows and Connor Bell, a couple of young up-and-coming Ontario stars.
Now we go back to row number 9. That's where we find JP Bergeron. He ran out of brakes in the sprint, so they think they have that problem fixed. Herbie Drescher drives to 53. Simon Zion Vienne in the 37, making a rare road course start in that car. And then Matthew Kingsbury in the 9. He had some struggles yesterday as well during his sprint race.
Next up is Martin Goulet Jr. in the 83. Larry Jackson in the 84. Row 12 has Dominic Scrivo. He got turned around backwards in turn 3 yesterday. He'll start alongside Dave Corsol in the 54, who had pretty good speed here this weekend. Didn't go that well in the Twins.
No, had to find his way to pit road early. Jacques Gannett Sr. drives to 93. He'll start alongside Sylvain Ouellette in the 94. Then Ben Couture in the 75, and Donald Teach running his 73 number, made famous by his brother, but he had problems in his sprint race. And then Serge Bordeaux and Jared Odrick in the 24 will round out the field.
Jared Odrick, former NFL football player, and he looks it. He is a big man.
Yeah, and he's figuring out these NASCAR Canada Series cars. He has a lot of experience in the TA2 class running the Trans Am Series, but to the rear, we can tell you, will be the 55 of Serge Bordeaux, along with the 24 of Jared Odrick. Unapproved adjustments, the reason there, and also the 72 going to the back for unapproved adjustments. Or the 73, I should say, Donald Teach.
You know what? Instinctively, I wanted to correct you, and I should have, because facts matter.
It's true, but it is Donald Teach. And you know what? They were starting at the back anyway, so it's like, why not? You make the changes, hope that the car becomes better, comes to life here as we lead into 45 laps. The Car Gurus 45, or here in Trois-Rivières, as they call it, Le 45 Tour Car Guru. And the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. And we talk about crown jewels, and that conversation has been happening at all levels of NASCAR. This is a crown jewel in the NASCAR Canada Series, and it always has been.
There's no doubt about it. As we go around the track, we're going to take the green flag. Those grandstands are going to continue filling up. People are out on the midways, but there are people all the way around this facility.
So it's Kevin Lacroix. We'll have the inside line for turn number 1. Defending series champion and current points leader Marc-Antoine Cameron on the outside. Double green flag. We're underway here at Trois-Rivières.
Good start for Kevin Lacroix. Marc-Antoine Cameron going to try to slot into that second spot. It's very much a zipper effect. Alex Labay, there's not a lot of room for Ranger to slide in, and this is what we talked about. Very, very narrow into the Duplessis gates.
LP Dumoulin did a little shoving of Alex Tagliani, pushing him to the outside. He wanted through, and he did manage to get through, and we stay green. Everybody kept off the concrete.
DJ Kennington to the inside of Tagliani. So is Alex Gannett. Remember, those drivers had issue yesterday.
Gannett was another one who was caught behind the 80 of Alex Tagliani and got shifted back a little bit through the Duplessis gates in turn number 3. So he's just finding his line in front of the 45 of Will LaRue. New look to the 39 and a new sponsor with Miso Jeu, the local provincial gambling agent on the 39.
It's a beautiful looking race car too.
It really is. relaxed during his Omnifab sprint because he knew he didn't have to push.
So mission 1 accomplished for all these drivers so far. Complete lap 1, particularly with all fenders on the race car.
And we'll talk a little bit about strategy during this race. 45 laps. We've seen as many as 60 laps being run here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. Now, the thing is, you've run 3 qualifying laps at speed. You've run 15 qualifying laps in the Omnifab sprints, and now your tires are on for all 45 laps. We're not anticipating any pit stops. Fuel should be good to go, and if you take tires, you're going to the back in a hurry.
As much as tire wear matters, heat cycles matter just as much. So this is the 3rd big heat cycle for these tires. Cars look to be handling pretty well. Of course, when you've got Kevin Lacroix behind the wheel, the car is going to look pretty good on the racetrack. Uses a little bit more run-up, but as you can see from the marks in that green pavement, it's exactly where a lot of cars choose to run.
Being pressured by Marc-Antoine Cameron and the GM Paillet number 96. And the Dumoulins are from here in Trois-Rivieres, but J.C. Paillet is the owner of GM Paillet, and he loves this race. He's from here. His business is set up here, and he has tons of people as problems for the 04 of J.F. Dumoulin.
Wow, what a disappointment for Dumoulin. And
he's got a dent to the driver's door and a crumpled right front. He's found his way to a runoff area, so I'm not sure we're going to need a full course caution.
I think that's pit exit.
Oh, that you might be right. So we would need a full course caution to clean that one up.
We will wait and see. But not a good day for J.F. Dumoulin, who was my dark horse pick. Why, we don't make public picks, Dave, but I was really hopeful for J.F. Dumoulin to have a great day. I know he was as well.
He has never won this race in front of his hometown crowd. Now we can say that LP has won it twice, 2014, 2019, but JF has come so close on several occasions. Finishing 2nd was his best effort, and unfortunately today will not be his day in the 04.
Yeah, he is sideways across pit exit. I'm shocked. I'm shocked we're still under green, but hey.
So the Omnifab 04 sits crossways, but not on the racing surface. It is pit exit, and once again, your leaders continue single file. And this pacer,
can I respectfully disagree that pit exit is very much a part of the racing
You're right,
surface?
Okay. It's not part of
I mean,
yeah.
If you pull off to the Hippodrome and park parallel park, you are not on the racing surface.
There it is. Full course caution. You knew this was coming. The 04 is actually left. I think that's what they were hoping for, that he would be able to continue on and maybe soldier around. Oh, there's the reason, the other half of the equation, let's call it. Potentially.
It's quite possible. Sam Fellows with a lot of damage on the right side. That's Mike Knott, his crew chief.
That's tire wall. The red paint on the 87 is tire wall, and I'm going to guess that's turn 8. Because you turn a left-hand corner in turn number 8, or potentially turn number 6, but the amount of damage there looks like a turn 8 hit.
Mike Knott is such a veteran as a crew chief in this series. 100 years ago, crew chief for Brad Graham. He's been around, calmly goes around to assess the damage, grabs a big old roll of duct tape. That's how we're going to hold the body up because it's fine. It's just the door. No panic. These are long pace laps. If you lose a lap, not the end of the world.
And you're going to drop to the back anyway. You're probably at the back after that incident. You can see the crew going to work diligently, taping up and trying to hold that side panel. And welcome back as we continue under caution here in the Car Gurus 45 at the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivieres. However, caution is about to be lifted as you see the field forming up past the choose rule. So this is an interesting spot because the outside of turn number 1 is not necessarily a detriment.
No, it can be a huge opportunity. I mean, at this point, everyone I think is still pretty fresh. Justin Arsenault, not sure what happened to the 8 car, but he's getting back into position. Your screens didn't freeze. They are still applying duct tape to Fellows, although I believe he has been released back out onto the racetrack.
He's going to try and catch up to the field now as the field comes on there. He's just leaving the end of pit lane, so he'll be held. He's down several laps as Mike Charret, the NASCAR starter, watches the field come onto the front straightaway and let him loose once again into turn number 1.
I think that was J.F. Dumoulin.
That was the 04 of J.F. Dumoulin back out on track after stopping towards the end of pit lane. So he managed to get that car going. I don't know, it might have been a flat tire because it was leaning down. But the Omnifab 04 is back in this race. Through turn number 3, more contact between Dumoulin and the 80 of Alex Tagliani.
Wow, and they are stopped dead on the entry of turn 3. Jared Oldrick.
Yeah.
Odrick, sorry.
Odrick in the 24. And there is Dumoulin and Tagliani. Almost the two that started off that chain reaction going into turn number 3 as they made side-to-side contact. And you can see the front right corner of the Tagliani machine is folded back in just a little bit. They had problems with that yesterday during the Omnifab sprints.
This is a road course race that races like a short track. It's very physical. You've got to use your fenders. You've got to use some bumper because if you get a run on somebody and put your car in a hole, there's nowhere to disappear to unless you're going to back out. And if you continue to back out, you're just not getting to the front.
Leader continues to be Kevin Lacroix. There you see him in the Napa Gold Filters number 74 Chevrolet, followed home by the GM Paillet Chevrolet of Marc-Antoine Cameron and the other GM Paillet number 27 of Andrew Ranger. And again, we've said it before, we'll say it again, not teammates, very much rivals on the track.
Cars look the same. They are not the same. Two separate shops, very competitive against each other, but they're very competitive against everybody.
Wiggles in the braking zone of turn number 6. We talked about the characteristics of this track. Look at that hump towards the apex of turn number 6, and the cars will hit it, almost lift and slide out. They want the back end to get happy through there. Almost a way of giving it some English to get through that corner and get down that short chute.
A happy back end is vital.
You're not wrong.
So Lacroix leading the way. Cameron looks faster. When I watch Cameron, he just looks, and he said, Adam, I was not pushing the car yesterday. Kevin Lacroix was, with Andrew Ranger applying the pressure for a while, and then Ranger backed off a little bit. But I think these tires, I'm impressed so far this year with the McCreary Racing tire. There was a lot of concern, there was a lot of chatter, but boy, oh boy, it saved these teams a lot of money, and they seem to perform very well.
Yeah, they seem to hang on at Calabogie Motorsports Park with a brand new surface. These drivers were saying we're running as hard as we could, qualifying laps in the later 40s laps, and the cars were responding. They were getting their fastest laps of the day late in that race. So yeah, the McCreary tires seem to be holding up to any punishment these drivers can throw at them.
Let's talk a little bit about lap times. To be in the top 10 yesterday, you had to be a minute 8 point something. Anything. That would be in the top 9. Nobody has cracked 109 yet. We've got a lot of times in the low 109. So racecraft versus qualifying are two very different things. And when we watch the Omnifab twin sprints, the fastest laps were, I think one driver turned to 107.999.
And I think it was Kevin Lacroix, as a matter of fact, that his race, his twin sprint, was a little bit quicker than the race that Marc-Antoine Cameron won. And again, you said it, Cameron didn't have to push because there was nobody behind him. There was nobody pushing him. So why would you try and wear out your tires a little bit earlier? But there is Dominic Scrivo, and you can see the tire marks on the ground. So he locked up. That's off of turn number 10. I don't know if he hit the tire wall or he got stopped before it.
Trying to understand if that's,
I think that's
they're
old.
different tire tracks.
His are the ones going straight, but it doesn't look like anything is broken on that car. But
as long as Jared Odrick didn't push him there, there was contact yesterday. Dominic's always smiling too. But we will see very shortly if we're able to stay under green or if there will be a yellow. The field works through the Ryan hairpin. That is turn 9. Turn 10 is when we are under yellow.
Yeah, full course caution for the second time here in the Car Gurus 45. The Napa pace car out to claim the leader, and that is Kevin Lacroix. Talking about Jared Odrick, you mentioned him. He's up to 20th, so he's having a pretty good run.
No,
in that 24.
He seems capable and comfortable. He is a very big man, about 6'5", 6'6".
Well, tell us why. I mean, he used to play in the NFL.
He was a very successful NFL player. Always played in Florida, whether it was for the Miami Dolphins or the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So he's used to this heat.
I said, did you have a problem with the northern states? He says, no, I like the tax laws in Florida. So that worked out well for him. But he's a capable driver. He's got size 13 feet, maybe bigger. I didn't look. We were standing side by side. That's just there's a lot of footwork to be done. He didn't like the way the throttle was positioned. They needed to do some work.
We're getting word on the 69 suspension damage for Dominic Scrivo, so it looks like his day will be done early. He's on the right front corner, rocking and rolling on that one. Some body damage to the 73 of Donald Teach, and yeah, there he's limping all the way back. So as he does try to make his way back to the pit area, we're going to take a quick pause. You're watching the Car Gurus 45 from the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières in the NASCAR Canada Series. Under red flag now here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières in the NASCAR Canada Series, race number 10 on the 14-race schedule. And it is not for Alex LeBay, but we're unsure why we're under a red flag. However, during that caution period, significant things happened, including the Castrol Dodge of DJ Kennington stopping down pit lane.
Yeah, the hood went up on the Castrol 17. We watched a safety vehicle out on the track. Now that the red flag has been displayed, no work can be done. Boy, there's a couple of knowledgeable fellows, Doug Brown and Jason Hathaway, Sammy Putnam, NASCAR official in the background.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of knowledge in the NASCAR Canada Series all gathered in one spot.
Track repair.
And we're being told the wall is out of position at some point around the facility, so they're going to head out with that thing, the front end loader, and they're going to adjust the wall position.
This will really show you where the bumps are on the racing surface. Right now down into turn number 6.
So the 69 of Dominic Scrivo did draw this original caution. He had suspension failure, and you could see the right front corner sort of flopping back and forth, but we weren't sure if he had broken something or hit something, so this could potentially be it. It might also be where the 87 of Sam Fellows hit, and he's got tremendous body damage.
Jack stands coming out for DJ Kennington in the Castrol 17.
Now this is considerable. We have talked, and when we have the discussion about the point standings, and sorry for stuttering a little bit to get into this conversation, but I keep going back on parts in the season when we talk about good places and bad places to have your bad race. When you have a smaller field, some of the ovals that you'll see, when you have 20 cars or maybe 16 cars on track, that's a good place to have a bad race. Here, 30 starters. It's a bad place to have a bad race. And for DJ Kennington, he comes into this one 4th in points. Now he's 74 points back of the leader, but he's only 20 points out of second.
They've got jack stands out ready to go under the car, and they're going to jack the left side of the car up first. If it's a battery replacement, you can get that done pretty quickly. I think you could probably do that within a lap. Not sure what else they could be looking at unless linkage in the transmission. There's Dominic Scrivo. I have yet to see Mr. Scrivo without a smile on his face.
You're right. He had an incident with Jared Odrick in one of the Omnifab sprints yesterday, and he sort of shrugged his shoulders and said, well, that's racing the way it goes. And he wasn't happy about it, but again, smile on his face. The Sierra Excavating crew, MBM Motorsports, they'll be back, and they'll be solid at some of the other road course races and some of the ovals as well. He's been chasing some oval track races and gaining some experience there over the course of the 2026 season. So this is the inside of turn number 10 where that wall is being adjusted.
I think what race fans don't always see, I think we've seen that inside corner of that specific wall ruin Alex Tagliani's day before.
Yep, and it's ruined one of the Dumoulins' days before. And to give you an update on a couple of drivers who we did see down pit lane earlier in this race, JF Dumoulin is back out on track, and Sam Fellows is as well in the 87 car. So the 04 and the 87, who we both saw or stopped, or both cars were stopped on pit lane, extensive damage to both. Repairs have been made. They're back out in this race.
To complete my thought where I was, when you come to this race, you've committed to come on Thursday to Trois-Rivieres, Quebec. You leave your home shop there from the Alliston, Ontario area. You've come down here, so you have days invested, that much energy invested. Forget about the financial investment. That's similar for all these teams. You spend a lot of money, but the emotional investment to be here, wait for Sunday afternoon till the facility fills up, and you're here to put on a show, and then to have something go wrong, it's just a letdown.
For these drivers to get a red flag this early in the race, and again, only 10 of 45 completed, but to sit there on the front straightaway, and I remember talking to Marc-Antoine Cameron years ago here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, and he says why this place is so unique, and it does. Get warm here, and it has been warm all weekend, is that the wind doesn't necessarily blow through the walls. The fans in the stands will get a nice breeze and feel, oh, this is comfortable. Drivers sitting there on the front straightaway are cooking.
Well, Bay, I question him, any of them parking over to the extreme left. You have to leave the left or the extreme right. You have to leave the left lane open. For safety vehicles, but if there is going to be any breeze, you can see the flags blowing right to left. I want to be parked where Raphael Lessard is, where we see lions across the back of that car.
Yeah, where Jared Odrick is in the 24, just as the tractor moves his way around, and the emergency vehicles are going to follow suit. So that wall was not pushed out of place by much. It was about a foot pushed in, but that would alter trajectory through turn number 10. So you want to get the track back to original spec as much as you can.
And if you've been a fan of racing for any length of time in Canada, you'll notice the back of some of these cars have Save San Air across the rear spoiler. The San Air Racing Complex is under risk of being developed.
And Andrew Ranger runs a drive. Driving experience on that property as well, so he is leading the charge to save that place. And yeah, I've seen some pretty great races on the big tri-oval, and of course the drag strip there is where NHRA used to hold the Canadian Nationals. As the yellow flag is now shown, and the Castrol Dodge getting jacked fully up. I suspect transmission issues.
Yeah, but he's too far forward to be working on the transmission.
Well, they lifted the hood originally. So what's at the back of the engine?
Clutch?
Could be clutch issues. The window net is still up for DJ Kennington. The problem for the DJ Kennington team is DJ is sitting in there and he's on his radio and he's trying to help diagnose this. DJ does a lot of work on his own race cars. Not to say that the crew doesn't do anything. They do a lot of work as well, but they do work collectively as a team, with DJ very much the head of that team.
He is the #1 mechanic, the #1 hauler driver, the #1 driver. He does it all.
Chief cook and bottle washer, as they call it. As one driver fails to get going. That's the Martin Goulet, number 83.
Boy, and that car's still not taking a fire. Normally by this point, the car would have driven away from the push vehicle.
It's tough when it is hot to get these cars going sometimes.
Yeah, but if you're turning the rear axle, you're powering.
There it goes.
Okay.
You just needed to get up to 80 miles an hour. Like
Right.
Back to the Future.
He's lucky he didn't wind up in a different gear. Although I'll bet you he would have finished pretty well at this event.
Oh, no, it
1967.
It didn't go.
What?
Yeah, no, it just started to roll because it's downhill going into turn number 1. And so Goulet will continue to be pushed by the safety vehicle. I think he might be headed back to the pit lane area at this point. We continue under caution. So let's take you through the top 5 as they've sat for several minutes here under red flag. Kevin Lacroix, Marc-Antoine Cameron, and Andrew Ranger. That's your top 3. Alex Labbe and Alex Tagliani, 3rd and 4th. Or sorry, 4th and 5th to round out the top 5 at this point in this race. So you know Tagliani is quick. He showed that in the Omnifab sprints. He started towards the back of the pack, mid-back to back of the pack of the 80 car.
Mid-back.
Well, kind of the mid-pack, but a little bit further back.
They have numbers in their starting spots.
I'm sure they do.
Okay.
We weren't sure where he started because it was a jumble in the Omnifab sprints yesterday. I think he slotted into about 8th or 9th for his starting position, where he was supposed to start about 5th. But he did work his way up through the field, so we know that car is quick. We know it's competitive. Alex Labbe, I think, is going to be potentially a spoiler in this one. He has shown quiet speed all weekend long. He was tops in practice, and he's sort of been there.
Alex Labbe is much like DJ Kennington. He will pace his car very, very well to have the most at the end of the race. It's not always the fastest at the end of a race, but he will have the best performance by comparison. He knows what he needs to do to be quick on lap 40 to lap 45.
His last starts came at Autodrome Montmagny in the doubleheader that the NASCAR Canada Series held there. Unfortunately, in race number 2, he was hit in the rear and suffered a bent left rear shock that really hurt his performance over the course of that race. So he thought he had a lot more in. Man, would he ever love to win this crown jewel. And again, that car, the 36, has been sold. Nicolas Barrette, who drives currently in the Challenge Canada Series in a Nissan Z, will be the driver of that 36 next year. Probably Reno.
And that'll be fun to see. Drivers from different series coming in. And this series seems to be much more attractive to road racers to come in because we do have some prime time events, like the 2 CTMP events is the main event on their long weekends. GP3R, we go to Markham next weekend. Who knows where the schedule will take us in the next couple of years.
You see the hand out the window indicating choose your lane to your leaders and the rest of the field. So Kevin Lacroix will stick with the inside. That's where he has been for every start and restart. And the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron will stick with the outside.
Looking at row number 3, LP Dumoulin and Alex Tagliani have had some shenanigans on these starts and restarts, keeping things exciting. There's some disagreement going on a little deeper in the field on where people are supposed to be. Oh, we saw it. Did you see that? One got squeezed way up to the wall on the exit of turn 8.
I don't think they hit it, though, which is good news as they come onto the front straightaway. You hear the revs start to pick up. A great shot from our drone pilot, Luc, as the green flag flies, and we're back underway.
That was not a good restart for Cameron. It didn't look like. Ranger to the inside, now on the outside. Ranger trying to clear Labbe. He will do so, but look at LP Dumoulin. A good run off of 1 leads to a great opportunity down into the Duplessis gates.
Dumoulin will hold on the outside of turn number 3. He's not afraid and will not back down. And I think Labbe did come out ahead, but Dumoulin will slot in front of the 80 of Alex Tagliani, which is, I believe, what he wanted to do.
Well, that was the battle. Oh, we got one sideways. That's Simone Charbonneau in the 88. As Alex Gannett battles with Will LaRue. Charbonneau trying to stick right up in there and join that battle.
LaRue and Gannett side by side for a quick second, and Gannett's going to take hold of that position going into turn number 8. And turn 8 is, like you say, it's a great place to set up a pass. It's not necessarily a great place to complete a pass because you're still pretty wide open going through there. You lift, you brake a little bit, but it's not a hard-braking corner.
You can go so fast through turn number 8, but you wind up so far into the runoff area, you've got no approach to 9. So it's very much a balance, a compromise, and a decision, very much like the gap between turn 1 and turn 2, which we're seeing right here. Down under the Duplessis gates, Kevin Lacroix continues to lead. Marc-Antoine Cameron hasn't been much farther than 2 car lengths off the back end of our race leader, but really, the top 7 or 8 are all in the hunt. We're about a third of the way through this Car Gurus 45. Herbie Drescher with a problem.
I was going to say a quick haze of the tires from the 74. Kevin Lacroix. Drescher is going to find that runoff area off of turn number 2. So we stay caution free at this point. Good heads up move by the driver of the 53 to keep this race moving. But yeah, Kevin Lacroix is pushing going into turn number 6. He just hazed that left front tire under braking in that rough area because you do have to be so gentle on the brakes so as to not flat spot the tires.
So, under normal circuit, well, Cameron's always going to attack, but normally you would say this is a good points day for any of them in the top 3, but this is the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. Everybody wants to win this race. Points go out the window if you've got an opportunity to get yourself onto the podium here.
Talk about how good these tires are holding up. Again, 3 laps of qualifying, 15 laps of an Omnifab sprint. Alex Tagliani and Alex Gannett just turned their quickest laps of this race on lap 15. A 109.469 and a 109.489 for those 2 drivers as they try to keep pace with your leader. Kevin Lacroix, as a matter of fact, a little bit quicker than the leader in that last lap. Now, watch the attitude of some of these cars at the front of the pack. The 47 of LP Dumoulin is the one that's wagging the tail just a little bit more than everybody else.
Some of it is driving style, some of it is doing what you have to do to stay with the pack, but yeah, it's fun to watch different cars. Like Cameron, it doesn't look like Cameron has really stressed himself at all yet today. Same with Andrew Ranger in the 27. Any of these drivers, when you look back through that row, you look all the way back to 12th or 13th spot in the lead draft.
Matthew Kingsbury up to 11th position in the 9, so a decent run in the Duro King number 9.
How far back does this pack go? I would still consider that all one pack. There's a few car lengths between a couple of them, but not. They're all in contention.
One of the drivers relatively new to this series is Vittorio Girelli. His cars get so close to that concrete and the tire wall. Girelli currently running in 15th position. A former champion in the NASCAR Euro Series has fallen back just a little bit.
Just ahead of him, Connor Bell just turned his fastest lap. Just behind him, Jared Odrick just turned his fastest lap.
So everybody finding their footing here in the Car Gurus 45 or
big fire. Ooh. Big fire under the hood of Sam Fellows in that 87, right up in the left front.
Yeah, and his spotter will be telling him, you're on fire. Find a spot where there's a safety official and they can get it out quickly. Oh, he's coming down pit lane.
Well, there's fire extinguishers there.
Lots of them. He's going to stop as soon as he gets there, but that's right at the driver's door.
And that's a raging inferno. That is not a brake line. That's got to be fuel, doesn't it?
Or oil at this point. But it is a big one for sure, and Sam Fellows is going to be looking for a way out as he has to get through that smoke. There comes the NASCAR officials armed with fire extinguishers. Sam Fellows is going to jump out and run to the back of that car.
Man, we are under yellow
Good news, Sam is safe. That's the best news out of this ordeal, but what a weekend to forget.
Yeah, but Mike Knott shouldn't be the first person to get there with a fire extinguisher. He just ran to yards.
Now you can see the fire team there with a hose as they try to get some suppressants. On the AER number 87, Sam Fellows. The thing is, he's catching his breath there. Because he was breathing in that black, dark smoke for several minutes before getting that car stopped and then trying to get out of that car, trying to time it for the flames to blow in the other direction.
Yeah, and thankfully he did get out. You know what's worse than the black smoke, Dave? That white smoke.
Oh, yeah. Sure,
it does a great job. It suppresses a fire in a big way.
Yeah, if you were, look at that though. Damage to the 87. Sam Fellows, he had that right side torn up in an early race incident, and now something let go in the front, but it didn't take long. Really burn that car up.
No, that's a fire of epic proportions.
I don't think we've seen a fire like that in the NASCAR Canada Series in probably the last 15 years.
I don't remember the last fire of that magnitude.
There you see Sam walking along the wall at the top of your screen.
We race on the street Lakes of Markham in 6 days.
I'm not sure Sam's car will be there at this point, and that'll be heartbreaking for that team. You see his hands on his head, so disappointment after Sam has shown really good speed here in the past at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. As a matter of fact, he was running for Jim Bray in the 98 car, and he had one of his best finishes up until he stood on the podium at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But he loves this place, and he loves to go fast. But you're right, it's just been unlucky after unlucky after unlucky for Sam Fellows and that AER team.
That fire crew, so intense. And we could see it just out of turn 6. You can see the flames coming from out the left front side of the that's what has me curious.
Is it an oil cooler on that left front corner that may have ruptured? Because look at it, it just immediately engulfed the engine compartment.
Yeah, the fact that it kept the flames kept getting fed as quickly as they were was why I thought gas. Gasoline.
The black smoke is, one of the reasons why I'm thinking potentially some oil. Look, and there you see Sam has to climb out through the flames.
A couple of lines that he has to pull out, whether it's radio, whether it's fresh air.
Cool suit. A lot of these drivers running a cool suit as well, which is essentially a shirt that goes underneath your driver's suit and it hooks into a cooler and circulates cold water through that shirt to keep the driver cooler. So that's another thing you have to disconnect in order to hop out and be safe. But this is a significant cleanup that's going to happen here on pit lane. The good news, Sam Fellows is out and he is okay, but the cleanup will continue. And as it does, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching the NASCAR Canada Series from the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivières. And welcome back under a red flag. Once again here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres, and that is the reason why. A significant fire under the hood in the left front corner area of the AER number 87 of Sam Fellows. As a matter of fact, still shooting out some hot spots in that left front brake area. But that was too significant a fire to be brake fluid. I don't think there's that much brake fluid in the car to feed that fire.
No, when brake fluid ignites like that, you'll get a fireball, but it goes out. You run out of accelerant. That fire continued to be fed. The driver is long gone. The crew chief has stayed.
Yeah.
Mike Knott is still there looking over the scene. I'm not sure, did we have the interior in the shot when we came back from break? I know we did during the break.
Yeah, it was pretty close. It looks like the interior wasn't, it's covered in the suppressant, all that white dust, but it doesn't look like the fire got into the driver's compartment, which is great news. But Sam Fellows obviously had to breathe in some of that black smoke for quite some time before hopping out. And he is okay, which is great news. No doubt he'll be taking some huffs of oxygen just to sort of clear his lungs for the next little while. But whatever happened, we don't know. It just sort of started coming off of turn number 8. It wasn't an incident that kicked it off. It was just a broken part at some point. It'll be tough to get to the source of that one, judging by the amount of damage to the left front corner.
Right. So the field sits on the front straightaway. 27 laps remain in this 45-lap main event. So a lot of racing still to come. Kevin Lacroix has been out in front from the drop of the green. These starts and restarts have been fun to watch. I mean, high speed merging. The first corner is 90-degree right-hand turn. Second corner is the land of opportunity. Because you can execute it from either lane.
If you've been following the NASCAR Canada Series on social media, you can see that Turn 2 has been the land of disaster as well for drivers like Kevin Lacroix, like Andrew Ranger in the past, because you can get so wide through turn number 1, you do have to come back, and it pinches off into turn number 2, sort of funnels you down.
What the drivers realize that are from 5th on back is everybody goes slowly into turn 3. They're all still merging. So if you've got a line, you can shoot that line as far as you can and take a chance, right? You get super aggressive. You have to almost stop going into turn 3 to navigate the Duplessis gates.
So it is some fluid that was leaking out of the 87, so that would feed the suspicion that it might have been an oil leak that caused this fire. And it did start in turn number 6, so the officials took a look at it and said we have to do a cleanup down this back straightaway. Or down the short chute between turn number 6 and turn number 8. There's kink that is technically turn 7.
Who numbers these corners? Why does this track have a 4A?
Well, the 4A is on the straightaway. Down Boulevards of Carmel, which is the longest straightaway on the track, but it's actually a gentle curve.
By that logic, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park has 27 turns. 20 of them are the backstretch.
It does. It has turns down. You come out of 5A, B, and C, and by the time you get to the end of the straightaway, you're in turn 8. So yeah, I think people look at it, well, that's a turn. Let's throw a turn there.
This is
the map.
This is my favorite venue for crowd shots as we look around the facility. Wooden bleachers mean they've been here a long time, all day long to get those seats. The green seats are reserve seating, but fans walk all around the property to check things out, get a couple of waves. People start to realize that they're on the screen. That is the view from turn 2. Back towards turn 1. Got the wood bleachers, general admission. Then you've got the hospitality suites that are raised up. Right behind them is the biggest swimming pool you've ever seen.
Yeah, and we will get an opportunity to see some of those drone shots of this entire facility. And it's got a hockey arena. There's a world-class baseball diamond, which is one of the oldest in Canada, if not North America, we were told.
In the world.
Yeah.
They say Babe Ruth has played there.
Jackie Robinson played there in the early days. So yeah, a lot of history here in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And it is just such a beautiful location for a race, and it is so close to the city center, which is awesome. You can walk from here to the waterfront, and down near the waterfront in the downtown. I've done it. It takes about 25 minutes to walk it downhill.
Yeah, you said you can do it. And you were looking at me. I'm not going to.
You can roll if you want.
Downhill. I'm not walking back. It's all uphill coming back.
But it's such a cool spot, and the city does come alive on Friday and Saturday night. It's very much a party around a race, and this is the marquee race. Unfortunately, stop now for the second time for a red flag. How about that souvenir?
NASCAR go-kart tag.
There you go.
Love it.
Fans loving the weather today. If you looked at the forecast, you might have thought, it's not looking good for race day. Well, that passed.
If you looked at the forecast all weekend, it was questionable as Wade is out there delivering water to all of these drivers up and down the front straightaway.
Yeah, that's good news for those drivers because it'll be getting increasingly toasty in those cars. And realistically, you can't lower your own window net because you watch when the drivers strap in at the beginning of a race. Usually the crew chief, or at least a key pit crew member, is there to secure the window net and make sure that's the final sort of piece of the puzzle before the driver sets off for the race. If you lower it, you can't put it up back yourself, and under this red flag, nobody's allowed out on track.
Who are they fans of, Dave? Number 37.
Simone's the only end? No.
Poulin.
Different class. There's a bunch of different classes.
I'll bet you that's a modified legend driver. Have you got the stack of rosters under your notebook?
I do.
Are you stealing my rosters?
Yeah, that's a 10-4.
It's the only thing I bring. You bring lots of notes. There's a lot of knowledge floating around in your head. Not a modified legend team. They might not even be racing here.
I thought it was one of the Challenge Canada drivers.
It is one of the Challenge Canada drivers, Steve Bland.
Yeah.
I just send Zeke.
Because the car, yeah, it's that. We're in Canada. We're in Canada.
Where are they built? You're just going to change the name of their cars because you're in Canada?
Yeah. Rude. But the car looks an awful lot like those t-shirts. It's a right.
Yes, yeah.
So there you go. But yeah, that's what's cool about this event too. It's not just the NASCAR Canada Series here and then nothing happens. It is racing from, start of day, about 9 o'clock is when the track goes hot, and it doesn't shut down until late into the evening. On Friday night, you race past sundown, and that's cool to see too. But you have a bunch of different classes of cars taking part in this entire weekend, and it is definitely one circle on your racing bucket list if it is.
And this is such a cultural event. You see people dress up to come to the races here. Obviously, if you're a GM Paillet, you're wearing your GM Paillet apparel. Timing is everything.
Sometimes you just have to show your belly. If you want to. On that note, as bellies come out, why don't we take a quick break? We're still under a red flag here in the Car Gurus 45 here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. We should be lifting that shortly, but we'll take a quick pause watching the NASCAR Canada Series. And welcome back to the Car Gurus 45 at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. The yellow flag has now been displayed. Red flag taken in, and the car's moving once again. Most of the cars moving once again. It looks like LeVay in the 36 unable to refire, and he will not be penalized for that. We should underline that fact.
Donald Teach, I was about to say doing Donald Teach things, but Donald Teach very aggressive. He's the driver of the red number 73 today, and there's no margin for error in these cars. I mean, they're all stacked up one behind the other, and clearly he's made some contact with somebody in the what is that? It's not the front bumper, but it's not the hood.
No, it's the piece right above, but you're right. It's almost in line of sight for the 73. It's going to take one more bump into a car. I'm going to guess on this restart, it's probably going to come off, but that's allowing a little bit more air into the radiator to help keep that.
By design.
I think it might be. No, it's tough here because you mentioned it going into turn number 3 on these starts and restarts. As you see a wrapper on the air intake area of the 37 of Simon Zion-Vienne. You see some wrappers floating around the backstretch, so that'll take some time to get that cleared away, but the temperature gauge will start to climb. But yeah, going into turn number 3, almost every start and restart we've seen, it's been an accordion effect. The cars just start to hit, and you think you're in the back, you get in there a little bit harder.
It's more intense at the back of the field. The braking is more severe. But that's where I say there's great opportunity if you can be in the row that moves ahead. Like that jerk in traffic who drives all the... Everyone is stopped, but somebody takes an extra 200 feet on the on-ramp.
Yeah. Looks like Tage is going to stay out and not tend to... No, he's coming down pit lane. So where was Tage running? He was in the 17th position. He started at the back. Unapproved changes was the reason for him being put to the back, which was fine. He struggled to hit his Omnifab duel. The Omnifab Sprint, and so he was really near the back anyway, so they went ahead and made changes, and he started just a couple of positions further back.
Alex LeBay still working his way up through the field to get where he needs to go. This heat being applied by this Teach pit crew to button down the front end of this.
Notice they work on the driver's side where the hood is buckled up. That's double Teach sits really, really low in this race car, so even with just a little bit up, and it's probably about 3 or 4 inches, that's enough to really distort his view over the hood area, excuse me.
Well, look at that coordination. One of them is going to wind up being taped to the hood. I gotta go.
Well, he's going to have to go soon. There's the crew. You can hear the urgency in the voices as they're going to send him out. They don't want to go a lap down. Get him out before the pace car pulls around and make sure that he can catch the back of the field before they go back to green.
Right, as big as not going a lap down as being able to fight back, so being able to restart with the pack. They're going into turn number 6. He is just exiting pit road, so that's more than half the racetrack behind, as we're going to go to the choose rule right now, which means
we're going to go back to green this time by. So lights will go off on the pace cars. We come into the turn 8 area. Nope, it's been waved off, it looks like, as the caution flags wave once again. So that'll allow Donald Teach to close the gap just a little bit more. But again, we talked about the tires and how well they're holding up. You know, you look at Tagliani, who turned their quickest laps on lap 15. GP Bergeron down at 17 turned his quickest lap on lap 17. So the tires are doing okay. There's another heat cycle. There's another cooling cycle. So are they going to come back? That's a really big question mark for these teams and for these drivers. There's not much they can do about it, but they're just hoping that the car is performing as well as it was before we went to red.
No, and that's a fair point. J.F. Dumoulin trying to find his place in the line, which should be fairly deep in the order. Donald Teach almost looks like he's going to come back down pit road.
That's the 94 of Sylvain Houlin. Similar Omnifab paint scheme. The 94 is coming out of the Teach race shop, but the 04 is just a little bit further back. He's several laps down. But he's actually up to 25th because he's still on track.
I gave him a chance at winning this one, JF, because does really well, especially as the tires start to give way. He's not going to get that opportunity.
DJ Kennington is now 11 laps down, new race leader in the Castrol Dodge. That is a big kick in the shins for that team. Kennington is very good here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. He's not a road racer by trade. He got his teeth racing at Delaware Speedway on Friday nights and then jumped into the NASCAR Series and now into the NASCAR Canada Series. But he won in 2013. He was a runner-up in 2022, and only twice has he finished outside the top 10.
You know, only twice?
Only twice.
You know who that's better than, Dave?
Do you want to get it? We're revisiting a conversation we had in the sprints.
Dave was bragging actually about Andrew Ranger's 13 top 10 finishes in 18 races. I lean towards the side of he was more upset by the 5 times he didn't. For Ranger, a top 10 is almost meaningless. He's a winner.
That's true.
Especially here.
That's true. When you look at his career stats, Andrew Ranger, and he's had a significant number of top 10s. There's
how many top 10s has DJ had?
DJ's had only twice as he finished outside of the top 10. I don't know the exact number.
So what you're telling me is DJ Kennington is more successful at GP3R than Andrew Ranger?
Yes, but Andrew Ranger's been involved in incidents probably while
He's nowhere near more successful. I'm getting rid of my stats. I can't talk to you.
Choose rule, and they have chosen it again. They'll stay in their spots as the Napa pace car comes down pit lane. Thankfully, we're going to get back to racing here on lap 22 as they cross the stripe.
Listen, we told you, GP3R's elbows up. not just in the car. We can do it here in the booth.
So Lacroix has been able to hold off 96 and Marc-Antoine Cameron so far on all restarts. Look at them crowd each other here on the front straightaway. Green flag is up and we're underway.
Kevin Lacroix has done a magical job switching up his restarts where he accelerates. That's Oh my goodness, Andrew Ranger giving a run for the money.
On the outside in turn 2, all kinds of crossways, and now he's going to slot back in behind the 96 gentleman movement of 36, Alex LeVay there to let him in.
Well, Alex Gannett almost looked like he had brake fade driving up alongside LP Dumoulin. Contact was made.
Jake for the lead. Something's wrong with the 74. Kevin Lacroix's off the pace down the straightaway.
He might have a flat tire after that contact with Cameron. That car is awkward. Oh, Simone Charbonneau off the end of the straightaway.
Into the runoff area, and you're right, I think he does have a tire down. Look at the left rear quarter of the 74. It is sagging badly, and bad luck strikes for Kevin Lacroix.
Oh my goodness. Kevin Lacroix, who had not turned a wheel wrong, is headed down to pit lane in that Napa number 74.
Qualified on pole, won his Omnifab sprint, and is now down pit lane as the race continues under green. Halfway mark for Antoine Cameron, a new race leader.
Andrew Ranger looking aggressive out there in the second spot. We got a lot of racing still to go. What went on with Kevin Lacroix in the 74? The top four have snuck away. Alex LeVay, Alex Tagliani in tow.
Kevin Lacroix has not left pit lane yet. The 74 is currently marked in 24th position. And he is one lap down to your race leader simply because he hasn't crossed the stripe yet. As they head down to short shooting into turn number 8, Marc-Antoine Cameron leads Andrew Ranger. And the window that is down on the 74, we're being told the 74 Kevin Lacroix, it was not a tire down. It is a terminal problem.
Window net is down. The chicken crew for the 74 at the end of this one. Now Marc-Antoine Cameron out in front, gapping Andrew Ranger by about 6 car lengths that lap.
Yeah, so looking at the times, it's about 0.2 of a second difference. The 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron out in front, the 27 of Andrew Ranger in second. And this is what the rest of the field does not want to see. They don't want to see the 96 get out in front and not have to battle for it at all.
Not at all. We're hearing the engine expired on the 74 of Lacroix.
Here comes Tagliani under braking turn number 6. Can he make it? He does. But crossover time comes the 36 of Alex LeVay.
That almost looked like a composing move by Tagliani. I don't even know if that was on purpose. It's like the brakes might have faded, but no, he's going.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to use the brake pedal much anymore. Into turn 8, he took a look into turn number 9. He leaves a gap to the back end of the 36 of Alex LeVay. Wheel sliding behind. Next opportunity comes in turn 1 at the end of this straightaway.
He might have received word that Marc-Antoine Cameron, look at the windshield. See, Cameron is driving away. He knows it's time to go.
LP Dumoulin just turned his quickest lap time of the race so far on lap 25 of the weather sector. So he sees these two battling and says, I've got to keep up as well. So he's turning up the intensity in the weather sector 47.
He is closing in on that battle at the front.
Tagliani and LeVay, it's a big battle at the front of the field as it stands right now. He's not going to try another kamikaze pass down into turn number 6. He settles in single file.
Dumoulin, Gannett, Will LaRue, Raphael Lazard all in tow, trying to chase down this lead group. But at the front, Marc-Antoine Cameron just having his way right now.
Matthew Kingsbury up inside the top 10, running in 9th spot. Not too far behind the 7 of Raphael Lazard.
Tagliani makes the pass for turn number 9. Move Alex Tagliani up into the 3rd spot.
Into a podium position. Remember, he is the most recent winner on a road course in the NASCAR Canada Series, taking victory at Calabogie Motorsports Park.
LP Dumoulin right there now. He's closed in on this battle to give chase to Alex LeVay. So the top 2 GM Paillet cars, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Andrew Ranger, have a little bit of a gap. Then it's Tagliani, LeVay, Dumoulin, Gannett.
And it seems like there's a long time to go. There's not 19 laps left here in the Car Gurus 45 and the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres. So if it looks like these drivers are starting to push a little bit harder, that's because they need to.
It's time. Tagliani with some debris on the front of that screen there in the front bumper, blocking a little bit of air. I don't think it's blocking a whole lot of airflow, but definitely blocking some.
Remember, that 80 team, the car is owned by Donald Teague, and owners' points are so important for that team. They're in a battle with JC Paillet, who owns the 96 car for the overall owners' championship, and it's tight. Tagliani wants to best the 96 to try and give his owner the best opportunity at that championship.
Tagliani a little bit faster than the race leader that last lap. Cameron faster than Andrew Ranger. So Tagliani closing in on Ranger, and then it's going to be a matter of how many laps will he have. Can he make the pass once he catches Ranger? Justin Arsenault doing an ace job as well. He runs in the 10th spot.
Nicky Bergeron has had a good recovery in the 1. He's up into 12th position. Jared Odrick started shotgun on the field. He's in 13th in the 24th.
Oh, I'm sure he's having a good time out there. Happy to be a part of this series out there competing. A racer in the Trans Am Series from Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Now you can see the 47 of LP Dumoulin. His car has come alive, or maybe just the driver has come alive a little bit more. And now he's going to try and force the issue past the 36 of Alex LeVay.
LP Dumoulin, Alex Gannett, fitness and durability are strong points for these drivers. Looking to the inside in turn number 1. LeVay left that lane somewhat open.
Not in position to stick it in on the inside. Turn number 2, they'll follow single file. So now you try and build that run off of turn number 3. But LeVay has been so good. It's tough. He doesn't make many mistakes.
No, he is meticulous in preparation and very good at hitting his marks each and every time. But LP Dumoulin knows it's time to go. Big run down into turn 6.
Bodywork flapping on the number 7. The Lyon. The Trois-Rivieres backed Dodge at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivieres, and by all accounts, it's a big success. Brought some excitement to the qualifying process on a Saturday. Added a couple extra races. And
do you know who's back on the lead lap?
I think J.F. Dumoulet has been the recipients of the free pass on several occasions, and yeah.
He is back on the lead lap, running in about the 20th spot.
21st is what I've got, just behind Jacques Guenette in the 93. Alex Lebay now 2 laps down on pit lane as a work in the right front corner, so it looks like suspension damage or something has broken in the right front corner.
But it appears to be something they feel they can repair. Otherwise, they wouldn't be taking the time to pull it back into the garage. It gets got warm down there.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you're right beside the header's working on that, trying to fix whatever is wrong in the suspension area, or maybe it's not the suspension area, maybe it's on the engine side. Oh, see that? Something electrical.
Yeah. Laps here.
Yep.
How the heck do you diagnose that on the spot? Figure out where your electrical issues are no fun.
Nope. So Lego's 3 lap down.
Who would have thought a tire wall could do that much damage, but they certainly can.
Yeah, imagine it was straight up concrete. You're going head on into that. There is the 04 of J.F. Dumoulet. Comes down pit lane.
See, this is where we were talking to Sam about him earlier on, one of the head officials. If you guys had the option to put fresh tires on, let him come through the field. How about Larry Jackson running the 15th spot? He's been nowhere near that all weekend long, but he's out there surviving in that Superior Road Paint Rack.ca, passed by Canada 84, good ride.
Dave Corsol in the 54. You had mentioned he was quick in practice and had a decent qualifying. He had a miserable OmniFab sprint. As a matter of fact, ended that one on pit lane. He started back, and he is also up inside the top 15, currently in 14th position with a very clean race car, which is more than we say for the 73, Donald Siege, and the 3 of Connor Bell as well.
Jared Odrick up into the top 10. In that 24, he's in the 10th spot again. He overshot turn 6 how many times yesterday? I think he was off track 3 times in the OmniFab sprints yesterday. But again, looking to feel his happy place in the car, have his feet comfortable, having to learn how these cars react differently than the Trans Am cars he runs.
And I think there was a runner who took that opportunity for the OmniFab sprints to use it as another practice, maybe more competitive practice session. But yeah, it was all about getting comfortable. He knew he wasn't going to win the OmniFab sprint, so you might as well just focus on your lap times and focus on comfortability. Because this race is long, anything can happen. Now with 11 laps to go, once they cross the stripe, it's going to be the 96 of Arcade 1 Canada, the control car on the inside with Andrew Ranger up alongside. As we look for green coming across the stripe into the 50s restart zone, we're back underway.
Great restart for Canada down to turn 1. LB Doom flipped the inside. Whoa,
Ranger! Ranger manages to spin it back around and keep going. Wow. And now in 24, Odrick goes around in turn number 2. They contact Connor Bell and leads all the way through because he's got damage to the front of the time scoring.
Well, we're just at Arsenault. Are they second and third now? There's Cameron Ruin in second. Arsenault third. My bingo card can be thrown right up there.
And here comes Andrew Ranger fighting with the number 9 of Kingsbury. Out of the same racing stable. They're hauled in the same trailer. 2 OmniFab cars go side by side, and you see Jacques Guenette in the 93. Oh, there's such an unfortunate ending for the 24. And the LapAnywhere.com Ford Mustang for Jared Odrick.
He has driven such a good race. We talked about barely a mark on that race car. Wait until you see him get out of that car. He is a beast of a man. Gentle giant, though. Super nice guy to talk to.
Ranger crosses the straight in 5th. He trails LP Dumoulet. Wheeler second. Justin Arsenault third. Dumoulet 4th. Ranger, Kingsbury, Guenette, Raphael Lazar, and Von Bell. Along with Simon Charbonneau. That is your top 10 as it is right now.
Cameron leads down into turn 6. Will LaRue in that 45 on clean racetrack. I'm getting some serious Alex Guenette vibes.
Yes, Alex Guenette won here. In 2022, as Benoit Couture in the first Can number 75 does quick loop. That's on the exit of turn number 3. Hoping he can find a gear and get going. He has the time right now. Car is rolling forward. Serge Bordeaux at 55. His day is done. Pulls into the runoff area off at turn number 2. Yeah, but Guenette won here in 2022, but I believe he only led 6 laps in that race on race victory. You don't have to lead them all. You just have to lead the one that counts.
Okay, we're watching. I think LP clipped the inside wall and then clipped Andrew Ranger. Then we watch a 3 wide, 4 wide, trying to get down into turn 3.
Oh, and that's where Odrick got squished out, and then Connor Bell made contact with the 24.
Connor Bell sidesteps up. So watch this, and I'll tell the story of Odrick's car.
Ranger with a heck of a 360.
There's that car rolling once again. Here goes Odrick. Watch what stays with Connor Bell's number 3. The entire ductwork of the 24. He's still on the 3 car.
You can see him missing from the front end of that Ford Mustang of Jared Odrick as he realizes how bad the damage is and finds that runoff area in turn number 6. 9 laps to go to the 8th. This got across the stripe for Arcade 1 Cameron.
Right now, Cameron, the fastest car on the track. And is that Matthew Kingsbury? That will probably be a 4 yellow.
The debris is up to Lawrence's. He's coming down into turn number 6. He's got mortgage front wheels. One is fixed, the other one's variable. And he'll find the runoff area as well.
What is going on?
This is a wild finish here in Trois-Rivieres, Quebec. We're under able course caution for the debris of the Dirt King number 9.
LP Dumoulet just caught a big break.
Yep.
I believe he clipped the inside of turn 1 and just made the car force to the left a little bit. Behind the Andrew Ranger. Ranger goes around. The number still stuck to the right side of the number 3. He's going to run the wall to try to get it off. But
I think Ranger got a big break. He's going to restart this race in 5th spot.
He's going to win this race.
He is fired up.
Don't make the Andrew angry.
I listened to his radio before at a NASCAR Canada Series race to get the opportunity to bring his standard because it's a lot of fun to listen to some of these drivers. Oh boy, Andrew Ranger will be lighting up that radio right now.
If you're Connor Bell listening to your team video, yeah, you got some tougher game. No, my temperature's fine. It's not your tougher. What he needs to do is brush up against the tire wall. I don't think a concrete will help. Maybe this corner would. Get up against the tire wall and hopefully stick in the tire wall.
And here's something, you know, he's leading the Jockey Johnson's Rookie of the Year battle. But here's something who has been in the NASCAR a lot to know. That's kind of what you want to do is word 16 between Ranger and the 47.
They run side by side. Now one of them pushing the other one down into turn number 1 is Matthew Kingsbury. I'm going to look underneath number 9. Again, you would think all these drivers are my guys. But he can Ranger over the next results in the series. over making his debut with us.
And he'll be back for the final course road street circuits. So finish off Delmers will get a goal. That's the Rock Wheel 24 for the road and street circuits in the 2020 calendar.
And he's a huge improvement this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
From practice to the wins of this race, he was getting a great race. And he did nothing wrong. You don't expect you to be 3 wide.
I was just going to say, that was no fault of him. He was taking the opportunity as it presented itself. Kingsbury went wide in the middle, and there was really no go. So, if you're Rick, you can look and say, I was flirting with the top 5. I was into the top 5 when that incident happened. And it just sort of got popped up. And unfortunately for him, the crew has a little bit of work to do. And I thought Bell's
over the wall. Might as well do where the debris is. That's where they're going to clean up anyhow. But you know what's interesting? Take out Cameron from the equation. Who's got the cleanest cars in this field? Raphael Lessard, Will LaRue.
Will LaRue and Justin Arsenault.
But also Raphael Lessard and Vittorio Girelli. A couple of drivers racing in Europe all year long. It must be these Canadians are animals.
Raphael Lessard has been here before, and he's finished with half a body on the car, so he knows exactly. Does have
He's
some
got
damage
some
to
damage.
but it's the back end, and that's that accordion effect. You see Simon Charbonneau, and this will be good for Simon. Charbonneau, he sits in 8th spot. He went into the runoff area in turn number 6, had to turn around a couple of cautions ago, and then come back out and rejoin way at the back of the field. So he's managed to improve his position, and he'll be happy with this at this moment, as the 75 of Couture has now left in turn number 3.
I believe we've mentioned it this weekend, but one of the best track crews, considering this is a one-time-a-year crew, they do a great job getting out there, doing what needs to be done in a timely fashion, and then vacating the premises.
Yeah, they've been busy. Not only in this